Hey everyone. Welcome to my channel B&B Glow. Ridge is caught by Taylor, and she wants answers. Ridge Forrester passed over Brooke Logan to grow old with Taylor Hayes on the CBS serial opera Bold and the Beautiful, giving Taylor Hayes a false feeling of security once more. When an old flame crosses her way and takes her by surprise, Brooke quickly becomes distracted. Given that Brooke is no longer focused on Ridge, you would think Taylor should feel even more confident. However, it is not going to occur. Is Brooke Logan's path to a new destiny found in Bold and the Beautiful? According to teasers for Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke Logan is getting out of her rut. Since Ridge Forrester left her for Taylor Hayes once more, she feels incredibly alone these days. However, it all changes this week when Nick Marone, played by Jack Wagner, arrives to Forrester Creations with a single goal in mind. That's making Brooke his again, and her ex-husband is very driven to fulfill his goal. Hope and Taylor are insanely jealous of Bold and the Beautiful for the next 2 weeks, June 16th to 27th. B&B, examine Ridge Forrester carefully. Nick begins by stating that he wants Brooke to see Ridge for who he truly is. According to teasers for Bold and Beautiful, Nick is elevating Brooke, something she hasn't done in a long time. The final pedestal Ridge had constructed for her was brutally knocked down. Before his side of the bed at the Logan mansion became chilly, the dressmaker hurried back to Taylor Hayes. However, he was always aware that Brooke would be waiting for him. However, it is no longer the case. Ridge Taylor and Taylor Hayes in Bold and the Beautiful. To no avail, Brooke has attempted to entice Ridge to return to her. Nick now arrives in town like a tornado, carrying the fragments of a broken Brooke Logan. It's exactly what she needs. However, Taylor quickly learns what Nick's homecoming will entail for her. Taylor Hayes doesn't need to worry about Brooke because she is bold and beautiful. In a twist on Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke is not the one who causes trouble. According to the leaks, Brooke falls in love with Nick right away. He also maintains that she should put any thoughts of a future with Ridge out of her mind. According to the spoilers, he makes her think of all the time she has squandered on Ridge over the years. He just waffles back and forth between her and Taylor. According to spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke stops pursuing Ridge as Nick places her front and center. The issue for Taylor, however, is no longer Brooke's willful interference. When Brooke notices another man, Taylor notices Ridge's new behavior and becomes quite envious. In the teasers, he is upset about Nick visiting the area and informs Taylor that he simply doesn't like Nick. However, Taylor's facial expression suggests that she is aware that Ridge's rage is not limited to that. B&B. A new Ridge is shown to Taylor. When Ridge learns that Nick is actively pursuing Brooke, Bold and the Beautiful takes a slightly different turn. Additionally, it appears that Ridge Forrester is unable to conceal his jealousy of Brooke Logan from Taylor Hayes. Taylor probably notices that Brooke is once again on Ridge's radar because, according to B&B teasers, she expects answers from him next week. Bold and Beautiful, Jack Wagner teases the future by saying Nick and Brooke are endgame. Thus, Taylor shouldn't be concerned about Brooke hanging about Ridge at work. The reverse is also true. Ridge is unable to accept Brooke's departure. According to teasers for Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor Hayes quickly discovers that Ridge hasn't changed his habits. Brooke Logan will always be Ridge Forrester's favorite. Nick's entrance seems to cause a stir on the CBS serial opera. Endgame for Nick and Brooke? Wagner's hint gives old flames new hope. Love triangles, unexpected reunions, and passionate romantic entanglements are the soap opera's mainstays, as devoted viewers of the Bold and the Beautiful are well aware. Few characters have been more intricately woven into these romantic webs over the years than Brooke Logan. Although Brooke's most notable romantic interest has always been Ridge Forrester, Nick Marone was the other man who won her heart in a totally different way. Fans are now speculating that Brooke and Nick might finally be heading for Endgame, thanks to a recent hint from Jack Wagner, who plays Nick. Could Nick and Brooke's long-awaited happy ending be about to happen on the soap opera? Let's explore the history, the drama, and Wagner's tantalizing hint, which has the Bold and Beautiful fans in full-blown conjecture. A past filled with passion and heartache. It's critical to review Nick and Brooke's complicated past in order to completely comprehend why their possible reunion is causing such excitement. When Nick Marone first appeared on The Bold and the Beautiful in 2003, he appended the Brooke, Ridge, and Taylor love triangle. For Brooke, Nick was a welcome change, providing her with stability, steadfast support, and a new beginning unencumbered by years of emotional baggage, things Ridge frequently found difficult to provide. Nick was committed to Brooke nearly from the beginning, in contrast to Ridge, whose heart was always divided between Brooke and Taylor. After years of turmoil with Ridge, Brooke sought a sense of security, and their romance immediately bloomed, full of passion and a strong emotional bond. However, their love story was not without its problems, as is typical in soap operas. Bridget, Brooke's daughter, and Nick had a brief marriage, which led to one of the most startling love triangles in B&B history. However, the indisputable bond between Brooke and Nick persisted despite scandal, heartache, and family strife. The what-if has been lingering in fans' hearts for years despite their marriage, divorce, reunion, and breakup. Nick's comeback, a revolution. Let's fast forward to 2025. All of the previous emotions have returned since Nick's unexpected return to Los Angeles. Longtime followers who have long longed to see these two resume their romance have also been filled with excitement and nostalgia as a result of his arrival, in addition to Brooke. The chemistry between Nick and Brooke was immediately rekindled when he returned to Forrester Creations. Ridge is clearly envious and growing more uneasy about his grasp on Brooke's heart as a result of their playful banter, lingering looks, and private discussions. Ridge still thinks that Brooke is his fate, but Nick's homecoming has raised serious questions about that belief. Then Jack Wagner's hint appeared, which ignited the B&B fandom's fervor. What did Wagner say in his tease? Nick's journey on the bold and the beautiful may not be complete, Jack Wagner hinted in a recent interview, referring notably to Nick's unresolved connection with Brooke. Wagner was cautious not to give away any official spoilers, but his sardonic smirk and cryptic comments immediately stoked rumors that the program might be preparing for Nick and Brooke's much-anticipated reunion. Who knows whether the stars align? Perhaps there is unresolved business between Nick and Brooke, Wagner suggested. Something special has always been there. All it took for people to start talking about Nick and Brooke becoming endgame was those 3 words. Many viewers think it's time for Brooke to finally find a man who genuinely prioritizes her after years of witnessing her endure Ridge's indecision and constant back and forth with Taylor. Why Brooke and Nick make sense now? There is a strong case to be made for revisiting Nick and Brooke's romance now more than ever before. Control over anarchy. The relationship between Ridge and Brooke has been characterized by countless splits, betrayals, and conflicts. Nick gives Brooke a relationship based on mutual respect and unshakable commitment that Ridge was never able to fully provide, one that is serene, secure, and mature. Potential for new storytelling. Including Nick again gives the romance between Ridge and Brooke a new and thrilling dimension after years of rehashing it. This upcoming chapter might examine how both characters have developed and changed over time, enabling them to create something more robust and long-lasting than they were previously. Brooke's second chance. Although Brooke has always struggled to find true love, she has frequently been the worst enemy to herself, reverting to her old habits with Ridge. Reuniting with Nick would represent her choosing a healthier, more balanced future and ultimately escaping that destructive cycle. Drama is added by family complications. There will be a lot of delicious family drama with Brooke and Nick's restored romance, especially since Bridget, Hope, and Steffi will all be heavily involved in the repercussions. There is little doubt that Ridge's response would be dramatic, resulting in high-stakes confrontations that soap opera fans like. The durable fan base of Jack Wagner. Given Jack Wagner's ongoing appeal to fans, Nick's comeback is a wise choice for the program. Many people would welcome a new romantic couple to liven things up on the canvas, and his chemistry with Catherine Kelly Lang, Brooke, is still evident. Ridge's response, an exploding powder keg. Naturally, Nick's return and his clear intentions towards Brooke would not sit well with Ridge. According to spoilers, Ridge will grow more envious and possessive as Nick and Brooke get closer. Instead of bringing Brooke closer to him, Ridge's possessiveness can backfire and drive her farther away. Brooke might start to notice the sharp contrast between Ridge's corrosive jealousy and Nick's calm, encouraging demeanor the more Ridge attempts to exert control over the situation. Ridge's shortcomings are exposed by this new dynamic, which may ultimately cause Brooke to end the cycle and select a man who can provide her with the contentment and tranquility she has long sought. Taylor's position, holding out. In this possible plot, Taylor is also quite important. She has always loved Ridge, and if Brooke ends up seeing Nick, it would finally allow Taylor and Ridge to start a committed relationship of their own. Ridge has been vacillating between the two ladies for years since he can't commit to one of them. However, Taylor might finally be out of the triangle and have a genuine chance at a long-term relationship with Ridge now that Nick is making an appearance as a serious rival for Brooke's affections. The supporters are all set. Since Wagner's hint, fan reactions on social media have been exploding. Many people are fervently urging the authors to give Nick and Brooke their own moment since they are tired with Ridge and Brooke's recurring plot. Fans are already making predictions about the reunion's possible course on Facebook groups, Reddit, and Twitter. The only man who genuinely admired Brooke was Nick. She is deserving of happiness. Catherine Kelly Lang and Jack Wagner continue to have incredible chemistry. We need a love tale like this. I've had enough of Ridge. Let Brooke and Nick have their climax at last. Clearly, the dominant feeling is that Nick and Brooke's happy ending may have finally come. What might take place next? If the authors do carry out Wagner's suggestion, a number of fascinating things might happen. As they spend more time together, Nick and Brooke's relationship deepens and their spark is rekindled. Enraged by jealousy, Ridge has violent altercations with Brooke and Nick. As his relationship with Brooke deteriorates, Taylor takes advantage of the chance to get back in touch with Ridge. Bridget and Hope influence Brooke's choice, adding to the family's strife. Luna or Sheila intervenes in an effort to control the circumstance for their personal benefit. Brooke might be forced to choose between her previous cycle with Ridge and a new, tranquil existence with Nick as Nick makes an unexpected proposal. Conclusion: will Nick and Brooke's endgame finally happen? Jack Wagner's recent remarks have given new life to one of the soap opera's most intriguing combinations, even though nothing is formally confirmed. In Brooke's convoluted romantic past, Nick and Brooke's relationship provided something special: genuine companionship, emotional security, and a reprieve from the drama that surrounded her with Ridge all the time. The Bold and the Beautiful has the chance to both respect the show's rich past and update the plots for a new generation of viewers if they decide to go down this route. Maybe it's time for Brooke Logan to have the happy ending she deserves, with Nick Marone, after decades of heartache, treachery, and love triangles. Brooke is stunned by Nick's flirtatious return, and the former flames reunite. In a shocking change of events that has rocked the world of The Bold and the Beautiful, Nick Marone has finally returned to Los Angeles, and his reappearance has immediately rekindled his romance with Brooke Logan. Nick and Brooke's love story was never really over, as fans who have followed this turbulent couple for years know. And now that Ridge is losing control of Brooke, Nick's flirtatious return may be the turning point that fundamentally alters the trajectory of multiple relationships on the canvas. The unexpected comeback. Nobody anticipated that Nick would enter Forrester Creations. As the scenario developed, viewers saw Brooke's face light up with equal parts surprise, longing, and unmistakable chemistry as she confronted her ex. Nick left town years ago to concentrate on his shipping business, but his charm has only grown stronger with time. Nick quickly broke the ice with his trademark humor and playful comments, appearing as dashing and self-assured as ever. It was evident from the minute their eyes met that his and Brooke's unresolved feelings had not diminished over time. Ancient chemistry sparks immediately. The ease with which Nick and Brooke's chemistry returns is what makes his comeback so electrifying. Their bond feels as new as ever, even after all the years, heartache, and complex past they have shared. Brooke is caught off guard by Nick's casual flirtation right away, but her warm grin and body language reveal that she is just as affected as he is. For a long time, fans have maintained that Nick was one of the few guys who genuinely saw Brooke for who she was, free from criticism or continual emotional back and forth. When they were together, Nick's love for Brooke was strong and unwavering, in contrast to Ridge's ongoing inconsistency between Brooke and Taylor. Ridge's increasing uncertainty. Ridge naturally learns about Nick's reappearance and his clear interest in Brooke very fast. Ridge is instantly and intensely envious. Ridge has always believed that Brooke is his destiny, but that belief is now in jeopardy due to Nick's homecoming. Over the years, Ridge has faced numerous competitors for Brooke's affections, but Nick has consistently been the one who really challenged Ridge. Ridge finds himself struggling with both Nick's and his own fears as they continue to reunite. Would Nick be able to finally get Brooke to leave Ridge for good? Brooke experiences emotional discord. Nick's reappearance awakens feelings in Brooke that she had assumed had been buried for a long time. She has been managing the highs and lows of her relationship with Ridge for years, frequently at the expense of her own pleasure. In sharp contrast to the emotional rollercoaster she frequently goes through with Ridge, she is reminded of the calm, laughing, and sincere love they previously shared when she sees Nick again. Now, Brooke must decide whether to stick behind Ridge and carry on their complex romance or consider starting over with Nick, free from the grief and betrayal cycles. Nick's goals are quite evident. Nick quickly informs Brooke of his actual position, in contrast to Ridge. He still has strong affections for her, as seen by his flirtation, which is more than just harmless fun. After years of Ridge's drama, Nick's assurance and his cool-headedness might be just what Brooke needs. Nick makes it clear that he's returning to make new memories as well as relive old ones. His reappearance raises the possibility of a romantic reunion between them, which could upend Brooke's preconceived notions about her own destiny. A rekindled love triangle. The Bold and the Beautiful has prepared for one of its most captivating love triangles in years with Nick back in the mix. There will be a lot of emotion, tension, and high-stakes drama in Ridge and Nick's fight for Brooke's heart. The whole Forrester and Logan families will be impacted by Brooke's final choice. Can she choose the man who genuinely prioritizes her and eventually break away from her previous habits? Or will Ridge pull her back into his circle once more? Fan responses take off. The reappearance of Nick has thrilled fans. There is a lot of enthusiasm and anticipation on social media that Brooke will finally have the opportunity to be happy with Nick for the rest of her life. Many devoted viewers believe that Nick gives Brooke the security and unwavering affection she has always been entitled to, something Ridge has consistently fallen short of. Fans are reminded by Jack Wagner and Catherine Kelly Lang's easy chemistry why Nick and Brooke were once such a popular couple and why there is still so much promise in their unresolved narrative. Hope fears the worst. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the upcoming 3 weeks, June 16th to July 4th, indicate that Nick Marone will kiss Brooke Logan while Luna Nozawa upends Steffy Forrester's life. After receiving some unfavorable news, I hope Logan will also be terrified, therefore let's discuss all the action. To begin with, the first indications of conflict between Ridge Forrester and Taylor Hayes would appear over the week of June 16th to 20th. That ought to be somewhat due to Ridge's tendency to become possessive when Nick rekindles his romance with Brooke. Nick will give Brooke a kiss and show her how wonderful they could be together again when her ex-boyfriend returns to Los Angeles and lavishes her with attention. After Nick seduces her, Brooke will obviously need someone to confide in, so she will tell Katie Logan, Heather Tom, all the juicy details and get her firm opinion. When Steffy attempts to bring Daphne Rose back from Paris, Hope will have her own strong opinions. Hope will be upset about Steffy contacting Daphne about a return since she fears the worst for her engagement to Carter Walton. Will Daphne reject Steffy or come to the conclusion that she is correct about a LA comeback? In any event, Hope will not want Daphne to become obsessed with Carter and cause more trouble. Luna will watch Hayes Finnegan in the interim until she's prepared to attack. Luna will begin attempting to entice Hayes into her web of kidnapping as soon as she gives him a gift. Steffy's world might be turned upside down by the week of June 23rd to 27th because all the clues point to Luna stealing Hayes shortly. If Luna calls to make sure she has Hayes, Steffy might feel concerned after seeing his gone. Hayes might serve as bait for whatever lethal trap Luna has in store for Steffy. Steffy might need to travel alone to a meeting with Luna and keep John Finnegan in the dark if she wants to ensure Hayes escapes this situation. Steffy will have to follow Luna's regulations, but there will undoubtedly be ways to get in the way. Will Remy Price be able to tell Sheila Sharp anything that could rescue the day? Nick should continue to irritate Ridge and draw Brooke closer in other places. The more Brooke lets Nick into her heart, the more Ridge will question whether he was wrong to let her go. Since Ridge and Taylor are undoubtedly moving in that direction, their breakup could occur over the week of June 30th to July 4th. In the end, Taylor will have to come to terms with the fact that Brooke will always hold a special place in Ridge's heart, so she could decide it would be better to simply let him go. We ought to discuss Liam Spencer's deteriorating health as well. Will Liam eventually heed Hope's counsel and inform his loved ones of his terminal illness? In any case, B&B spoilers indicate that additional people will eventually become entangled in Luna's chaos. Liam and Finn might end up working together on a rescue mission as a result of Hayes' disappearance and Steffy probably going missing to retrieve him. Stay tuned for updates on all of Luna's nefarious tactics, as spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that she will go completely crazy over the course of the next 3 weeks.